Fozzie, joined once again by Apothny, and we are here with our next match with once again another flagship. It's always great to be able to say that on the beginning of a match. The Tuskers have brought their Armageddon flagship, piloted by Latronicus. I'm trying to pronounce that name right, and they've brought a Armageddon, double Eos, and Neros, triple Vexor, triple Heretic, double Mollis. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Cynosural Field Theory team?
So the Nocturnal Cynosural Theory team, they've got 2 Eoses themselves. They've got an Neros, they've got an Ashimu, 3 Ishkars, a Vengeance, 2 Mollis, and a Benediction. Lots of damps on both sides. Looks like one of the Heretics of Tuskers have gone in at 0. That's most likely a mistake, I'm thinking, given the rest of their team came in at 50. But this is one of those matches where I just have no idea what's going to happen. I honestly can't predict.
Mm-hmm. So we saw the match has now begun, and yes, that Heretic is burning right back to his fleet, and he's going to safely get back to the loving embrace of the rest of his team there before he gets primary down. The Tuskers have dropped Geckos and Infiltrators. Meanwhile, we've got a bunch of armor maintenance bots dropped by the Cyno team. A lot of armor.
A lot of rep drones. Wow, it's going to be so hard to break them. Looks like both teams are just kind of sorting themselves out, burning around each other, looking for positional advantage. The Tuskers Vex are burning in around slightly, whereas the Nocturnal team is staying quite close. Both teams just confidently just saying, okay, they've got this. How are they spreading out? What are they doing? They're not rushing in. They're not making any quick decisions. They're carefully considering and debating on what each team is going to try and do and how they need to deal with it.
It's definitely the more aggressive position from the Tuskers at the moment. They're moving in slowly. What we're actually seeing from the Cynosural Field team is they are sitting around one of the micro jump beacons. So they are right on top of this structure that can allow them to jump away 100 kilometers in any direction. We've seen micro jump drives get used to very ill effect in the last match, but I'm sure we're going to see some really good use of it throughout this tournament. And I think that's what they're currently planning around. They're going to have the ability to defend themselves here, and then if they need to move 100 kilometers in any direction, they always have that option.
Yeah, so both teams still just not really much going on. We've got the Nocturnal team still balling up pretty hard. The Tuskers a bit more spread out. It looks like we've now got some damps spreading. The stream on my other monitor won't load, which makes my life very interesting. But yeah, it looks like it's a slow start to this match. Yeah, the damp war currently is being won by the Tuskers, but it's not a ton of it. They've got some damps on the Aneros, they've got some damps on the opposing Mollis, but it's not a gigantic control bar. They definitely have the ability to get more control on once that Armageddon lands his newts, because he's going to have some very powerful newts. Of course, Armageddon's as a flagship, able to use faction and officer neutralizers. And once he gets in within range, you're going to see that used to effect. But at the moment, he's still staying back. He's not getting anywhere close to the other team. And actually, the Tuskers have pulled in their damage drones as well. They don't want to be losing these drones early in the fight. So yeah, these two teams currently being very cautious. The Tuskers are actually, we've got a bunch of them standing still. What we may end up seeing actually if these two teams stay super defensive is that eventually one will try to make a rush at some of the small ships to gain a points advantage. Both teams did bring full points, so they both have neither team has a points advantage at this stage, but when it comes to picking off small targets and then kind of running away with the fight on points, Cynosural Field Theory is going to have the advantage because those Heretics and Mollis are going to go down a lot faster. Am I back?
You are indeed back. Welcome back.
Fantastic. We've got the Tuskers finally going in it closer and closer, edge by edge. The Heretics
just very slowly moving in.
Barely going in. My old mate Malfurion going in a little bit closer.
Yeah, I was just saying those Heretics are going to be in definite danger of being sniped, and if they do, that's the kind of thing that could swing this points for. As again, just very, very cautious moving. These Cynosural Field Theory pilots are not interested in moving away from that beacon right now. They're going to wait until they see what the Tuskers do. Tuskers are starting to move
finally
it
from Malfurion going on to the Mollis of Decorumus, but Rep's holding absolutely fine. They're trying to volley through him by the looks of it. All the Heretics trying to alpha at once. TP's on it as well, but he is having none of it. Rep's holding absolutely fine.
So this is the kind of point in a fight where although these teams are primarily using ships that are bonused for heavy drones more strongly, that having some sentry drones would be very useful, because at that point you could drop the sentries, be applying damage across the field. With the heavy drones, they do a lot of damage, but the danger if you send them in a fight like this is that the other team will just destroy them once they get into the middle of the other pack.
It looks like the Heretics are just hammering away on the different ships here. They're going for the second Mollis of Daemon, but he's just barely going into armor.
Yeah, he's taking little chunks of armor off, but then repping right back up. He's in a pretty safe position, I think, at this point.
remind me, what happens if we go out of time here in the AT-12?
So if we go out of time while both teams have the same number of points killed, so which they do at the moment, then the match will start to speed up. What you'll actually have is time will begin to accelerate. It's the opposite of what you see in large fleet fights in EVE, where time slows down. Instead, time will speed up, and that'll make it a lot harder for the logistics to keep up with switching all these targets. That being said, though, the damage drones are now heading across the field. This is the moment
here
that
we go, here we
Tuskers
go,
have
here we
decided
go.
to launch their attack. And so it's all infiltrators. They're going to be doing EM damage and some geckos, which do all types of damage, and they're heading right into the pack. It looks like they're all going to try that.
But it's got so many rep drones on it and its local tank, it is going to be so hard to break. See, barely breaking through its armor, actually starting to slowly take a little bit more damage. Looks like they're doing a little bit more damage than the Neros can rep, but it is taking them a while. At the same time, their Maulus is going down, being repped up by the Neros, but this Neros' cap is going to be being taxed.
Yeah, the split focus, they're getting damage on both of them. That means that it's much harder to keep them both alive. But at the moment, Tinkerhell in his Neros, the captain, I believe, for the Cynosural Field Theory team, he's just doing a good job of keeping himself and his team alive. And at the same time, the entire Cyno team is killing off drones. They're focusing on destroying the heavy drones from the Tuskers. Yeah. All the Tusker ships have large drone bays to be able to have some backups. Well, at least the EOS and the Armageddon do. The Vexors doesn't have quite as much backup, but it's still clearing off the drones will be very helpful.
Nocturnal taking a slow and steady approach. We've got plenty of tank. We will wait. We will reduce your incoming DPS, and then we will take you on. We're not going to try and rush in. Now we see actually smart bombs of the Armageddon going off, even though he's got nothing to use them on, weirdly enough.
There were some hammerheads over him a moment ago.
Ah, that's why it went off. Looks like the Neros of Nocturnal actually starting to go into getting close to half armor now. I wonder if that's breaking or whether he's just bait tanking.
I have to imagine that he wouldn't risk bait tanking too much in this environment. He already has all the fire on him, so I don't think there's much he could do to would encourage people to focus on him more. The big difference is now we've got the Nocturnal. Oh, Tinkerhell just blew himself across the field. The Nocturnal team is using the micro jump unit. They are jumping to the opposite side of the arena, right past the entire Tuskers team. What we saw was the Tuskers moved in, they brought in their get-in and were started nuding, so the Cyno team made their escape. However, they lost a Maulus on the way.
Yeah, I mean, that Neros is gone. There are now no reps for any of the ships left. They can start being destroyed quite easily. Those heretics doing a lot of damage. Looks like they're going for the second Maulus of Daemon. That is going to make their life so much easier, getting so many of those damps off of the field.
Yeah, it looks like most of the team was able to use the micro jump unit, but for some reason the Mauluses were not. They might have been scrambled, but they had to burn across the field, and they lost one along the way. Meanwhile, Tinkerhell is still taking damage, but we've got Daemon dropping into structure.
Oh, and the Malediction gets volleyed, and the Maulus goes down as well.
The Malediction was a boundary violation loss.
Oh, wow. The frigate support of Nocturnal going down. Tuskers still not losing a single ship. I think the Tuskers are definitely piloting better than the Nocturnal team, though Tinkerhell is being a hero in that Neros. The Ishkar now starting to take damage from the Heretics. That huge anti-support in the triple Heretic setup is really doing them wonders in giving them the support advantage.
Wow. So what we actually saw there, as Tinkerhell continues to drop down, he is going to go down. That Malediction took the micro jump unit, but took it in the opposite direction of the rest of his team, and therefore launched himself out of the arena instead of to safety. And Tinkerhell is going to destruction now. If he drops down, there he goes.
And Tink is gone. Logi is off the field. The Ishkar just going down. And this is where it starts getting really bad.
Yes.
They have no reps. Everything's going to start burning. Tuskers still have their whole team. They may have lost some drones, but they're still putting out a ton of DPS, and there's nothing stopping them. Another ship goes down for Nocturnal. The Eos of Megalar starting to take DPS, and we could be heading towards our second whitewash of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the Eos dropping very quickly. He's got all the newts of that Armageddon over on him. He can't get away, and there he goes down. This is a very dominating performance from the Tuskers. They managed to find a way to poke in at those defenses of this Cynosural field team, and when the Cyno guys tried to jump as a unit using the micro jump drive, a couple of them messed up, and that's what took them down.
Now, more than half their team, they're gone, and for the first time in the entire match, one of the Tusker ships has gone below shield. They've actually had to start repping at this point, the Tuskers team. And when Cyno only have 5 ships left, soon to be 4, with that Eos taking tons and tons of damage.
Yeah, the Eos of Lub is dropping into structure down. There he goes. So that's another Eos down.
Oh.
Got the Gaiden R, and the Ashimu is going through shields now. It looks like he'll be into armor any moment. And there he goes into armor. And Manuel Bayarche, who was the only member of the Tuskers team losing any armor, has it completely wrapped up. And he's
the final nocturnal ships just popping like balloons at a fairground. Like, it's just, it's just gone at this point. Congratulations to Tuskers for a fantastic, well thought out, well piloted victory. Nocturnal did really well in the beginning. They had a great plan. They went through it, but Tuskers managed to get the edge over them and snowballed into a great victory. You've got to be happy, like whitewashing a team such as CFT, full of very, very intelligent players who are very well respected on Tranquility for being exceptionally competent at PvP.
Yeah, seeing there's damage now being applied to the flagship Geddon there. He is taking some armor damage. It'll be interesting to see. It looks like what we might be seeing from Cyno is that they're throwing everything they can at him to try to bring him down before they die. But now actually the match has ended. It looks like, the time ran out. The last EOS for Cyno Field Theory is going to... Or I don't know if he actually dropped. He did drop. And that's it. The match is over, and great job to the Tuskers. Yeah, the EOS died just before the match completed. If he had died after the match had completed, we would have given his ship back, but it was a legitimate kill. And so that is a complete whitewash. And with that, we're going to send you to some ads, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes with our next match, Cast About.
The trial.